Hi everyone, this is Maria with the Bead Club. Before I get into today's project, I just wanted to let you know that we have recently opened an Etsy shop called the Bead Club Lounge, where you can purchase beading tutorials. The link is in the description box below. And just for everyone on YouTube, you can take advantage of a 10% off coupon code when you spend just $5. Here are some photos of what is available so far, and more tutorials will be added soon. So after this video, check out our new Etsy shop. Today we're going to be making a simple ladder stitch bracelet using some tile beads, check tile beads, and these are 2-hole beads. I don't know if you can see that. Right, there you go, 2 holes, and some 11 seed beads and some SuperDuos. So I'm just going to attach a stop bead onto my one needle that I have threaded with the comfort towel length of thread. I'm going to leave about a 6 to 8 inch tail so that I can attach my clasp later. Alright, so first I'm going to pick up one tile bead, and I'm going to pick up one SuperDuo 3 11-ohs. I'm going to go back down the second hole of my SuperDuo that I just put on and pull those beads nice and tight, nice and snug. Then I'm going to pick up another tile bead, a SuperDuo 3 11s. I'm going to go back through the second hole of my SuperDuo that I just put on. And again, pull nice and tight so you get those beads nice and snug. And I'm going to go back through the last tile bead, and I'm actually going to go through the one that my stop beads attached to. So I want, let me zoom in a bit here. I want one free hole on this first stop bead. Trying to get my needle through it to show you. I want one free hole, so I'm going to attach my clasp to that later. So I'm going to go through the second hole. So this is the first one here. I'm going to go through the second hole and up through my SuperDuo. Down through the second hole of my SuperDuo, skipping those seed beads, and also through the first hole of that second tile bead that I put on. Now I'm going to go up through the second hole of the second tile bead without adding any beads. And I'm using a color thread that's very close to my beads, so you really don't see that thread showing, because you will see a little bit of thread showing in between, and you want to avoid seeing it as much as possible. So now I'm coming out of the top of that tile bead. I'm going to pick up one SuperDuo 3 11-oh seed beads. I'm going to go back through the second hole of that SuperDuo that I just put on. I'm going to pull my beads nice and tight, so my thread nice and tight, so my beads are nice and snug. I'm going to pick up a tile bead, one SuperDuo, 3 11-oh seed beads. I'm gonna let those slide all the way down and go through the second hole of that super duo that I just put on. And now I'm going to go back up through the second hole of that last tile bead. So this is the one I just put on. We're coming down through that first hole, and we're going to go back up through the second hole of the last tile bead, and also up through the first hole of our super duo on the top there. And then I'm going to skip all the seed beads, and I'm going to go down through the second hole of the super duo and the first hole of that last tile bead. And just make sure that your thread doesn't get caught on your seed beads. But you see, you don't really see the thread because the thread is now hidden under that little bridge of seed beads there. So now you're coming out of the first hole of your last tile bead. You go up through the second hole, so you're coming down out of the tile bead, you go up through the second hole without adding any beads. You pick up one super duo and 3 11-0 seed beads. And you go through the second hole of that last super duo that you just strung on, and you hold the super duo and just pull your thread tight so that your super duo sits nice and snug against your tile bead. And then once again, you pick up one tile bead, one super duo, and 3 seed beads. You let those all slide down. You go through the second hole of your super duo, the last one that you put on, and you pull that thread, hold your super duo, and pull your thread nice and tight. Get my tail thread out of the way there. And then you're going to go back up through the second hole of the last tile bead and through the first hole of the super duo on the top of your bracelet. So this is the last tile bead we put on, and the super duo and 3 seed beads. We came back around and went up through the second hole of your super duo, and then up through the second hole of that last tile bead, up through the first hole of the super duo on top that's already attached. And you pull that nice and tight, and that brings everything together. You skip your seed beads on top your super duo and go through the second hole of the super duo and the first hole of the last tile bead. You pull that down, and that's what you get. And you just keep going just like that. You go up through your tile bead without adding any beads, and then you continue adding your super duos and seed beads and tile beads until you have your desired length. Alright, I've gotten to my desired length. I'm just doing a little sample size today, not a full length bracelet. I'm coming down out of my tile bead as if I was about to go up to add more super duos. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go up through this last tile bead, and what I've done, I've left the hole on the end free, just like I have on the beginning end. So I'm going to go up through that second hole, and I'm going to pick up about 4 let's pick up 5 11 seed beads, and my clasp. I'm just using a jump ring, a lobster clasp attached to a jump ring. And I'm going to go back down through that last seed bead that I put on just now and pull those nice and snug. Then I'm going to pick up 4 11 seed beads. Oops, dropped one. And going from the opposite side of my tile bead, I'm going to put my needle through there. So my thread is exiting, let's turn it this way, my thread is exiting the left side. I'm going to take my needle through the right side. So my beads form a nice little V on the end there. And then I'm going to just, I'm going to flip it over so it's easier for me to work with. I'm going to take my needle back up through the first 5 beads. Sorry, I'm going to zoom out a bit. It's getting a little blurry. Through the first 5 beads, through my jump ring, down through my center seed bead, so that central one, the 5th one, and down through the 4 on the other side. And then I'm going to take my needle through my tile bead. And what I would do from here, my tail is my thread is a little short, but what I would do is just work my way back into, oh, I can't seem to get in there. There you go. Work my way back into my bracelet and tie a half hitch knot in between these thread bridges right here, just utilizing these thread bridges in between my SuperDuos and my tile beads, and just weave your way back following the thread path, so zigzag back and forth, and just make several knots and cut your thread off. And of course we're going to repeat that with the other end of our bracelet. So we're going to remove our stop bead and just pull it and slide it off. And you thread your tail onto your needle. So my thread is exiting the second hole really of my tile bead here, and I want it to exit this first hole, the one right at the end of the bracelet. So I just take my needle through there and repeat the same process as on the other side of our bracelet. So we pick up 5 of our seed beads, and just going to use a jump ring for the other half of our clasp, and go back through the very last seed bead that we strung on. You hold the jump ring or the bar of your toggle clasp, whatever you're using, and pull your thread nice and tight, and then pick up 4 seed beads. Your thread is exiting the left side of the last tile bead. You're going to take it through the right side, through that last hole, and pull your thread nice and tight. And you reinforce your clasp just like you did on the other side by sewing back through all the beads, through the jump ring, back through the center bead, and down through the 4 beads on the other side. Weave your way into your bracelet and tie several half hitch knots between the thread bridges on the SuperDuos on the side of your bracelet. And that will be your bracelet all done. Please check out our new Etsy shop. We will be adding new projects to it very shortly. Take advantage of our coupon code. It expires shortly, and I hope you had a great time watching this video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.